Hello, hello, my loves, and welcome to EQ with Jah. So, I wanted to make a video that was about my own personal journey. I know I do a lot of, didactic style conversation, but what I have really loved watching happen over the last couple years, but in the last year in 2020 particular, has been watching the divine masculine start to be rebirthed into this lifetime and being able to recognize what the distorted masculine is and what the distorted masculine has done and what the distorted masculine represents. And these are all of the attributes, again, of not taking ownership, not taking leadership, not knowing how to step into your faith, not knowing how to trust your intuition, your inner child, the cognitive reasoning that happens because emotionally you're tapped into what your soul, your spirit, your source is aligned with. And to me, I love knowing that the journey that I've been on as a gay man, a gay black man in particular, it has been such an interesting journey of figuring out who I am and what that means as an expression of myself. Not for ego's sake, but for my soul's sake. My soul respects the body that it's in, and it respects this masculine biological body that is Jawan, and this person that represents an entity of itself and it has a whole regard for itself. I respect that essence as well as it respects me. And then my soul, the life that remembers all of these things that I know from beforehand or things I've been through, to understand how to respect or recognize what I need to respect, something that is being empathetic, not just of myself, but to a whole collective. That's when we get to step into our truest form of our divine masculine. Remember, divine masculine, it can apply to biological cisgender. It can also apply to alpha masculine energy, as well as just anyone who feels they are what we call the top in sexual or romantic positions, or if they are the person who deems themselves the leader, who is more of the alpha type personality than someone who wants to wait and have someone tell them what to do. Each one serves a purpose, but knowing who you are authentically in this lifetime is very important to the essence of your being. You know, for myself, I have grown. I've always known that I'm a romantic. I've always known that I'm going to have a family. I've always known and seen the vision of what that looks like. But for me, as knowing who I am, not within the dynamic of my relationship, because on the outside looking in, yes, I may seem as I am the biological masculine energy and blah, 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 but mentally and emotionally, I know that I'm much more in tune with my divine feminine energy, which is that of a nurturer and a parent who loves and sees how to build for the next generation, not for my ego's sake, but for their development and for their legacy. Because at the end of the day, their legacy is my legacy, and whatever we do together is the co-creation of what the universe wants to express through our vessels. And so that spirit energy, that soul energy, that knowing of who you are and what you need to be, at the end of the day, for myself, as I was saying, tall, black, gay, I was told to be a lot of different things for absolutely no reason. And I always question, why would I do that for your subjective blah, 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 blah? Well, that's what other guys do, and this is who we are, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but I'm not another guy. I'm a gay guy. So if I don't care about the rules of what you care about, then what does that mean for me? I never thought about that. And that's when I started to realize that's a distorted energy. That distorted energy runs the majority of the world, and now it's starting to realize that it cannot last, and so it's starting to fight itself. And what that looks like is pointing fingers, not taking accountability, trying to come up with some other scenario of why this is what it is, when really the divine masculine is, I'm going to listen. I'm going to take on whatever I need to take on, not in a way that it's a burden because you're playing the damsel or you're playing the weak or you're playing the I can't help myself, but knowing that you know you're strong, you know you're well, you know you can, or you're capable of doing. And so I know that as the outsider, whatever happens to the feminine happens to me. And so because I know that, yes, me as a masculine energy, I can protect myself, but it's much more loving for me to know that I can protect my feminine. And the feminine nurtures all of the love of everything I put that into, may it be the home, the children, the pets, the financials, whatever I put my love into, my feminine is going to flower that more because they are an extension of me, an expression of me. And so whatever that looks like for you, that's what it looks like for you. But to remember, as the father figure, the big brother figure, the dad energy, the masculine energy, the alpha energy, all of these things, they exist for a reason. They're not to be looked at as some competition or something that means you have to go after what someone else has. It just means knowing how to step into your fullest truth and your honor within yourself to respect what you're able to bring back and contribute to this environment in this world. That is the masculine energy. The masculine divine energy is always looking for a way not only to be a part of society and to be able to integrate, but then to take what they're integrating and then learn how to then transmute that energy into other forms of teaching to create something new. And then that is where the leadership ability steps in, and then you're able to see different avenues and perspectives, and that aerial perspective we talk about, where you can look down and see everything happening. Maybe you're not emotionally connected to all of the intrinsic, why it's happening, the connections are happening the way they're happening, but you can see the pattern of why. And that gives you something that you're able to then give back to communities so that they know how to operate and get along with themselves and vice versa. Whatever your end goal is, mine is to always make sure that I'm able to give information that's viable to other people so that they know their emotions are not something they're going through alone. They're something that we all experience because we, as a human species, are emotional beings. That's part of our species. Just like we sit and study other species, we need to be recognized through our emotions. That's why we need implied intent. That's why we need somebody to be truthful and empathy, and we need objective truth and subjective truth and all these things that we have learned how to thrive off of, because emotionally it gives us something to live for. Period. Sorry, that was gives us something to live for. I admit I slur everything when I talk, blah, 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 blah. But no, it gives us something to live for. And so therefore knowing this about ourselves gives us that functional purpose. Me as a big man, regardless of being gay or not, I feel this inert need to help everyone, male, female, pet, animal, this, that, whatever. I can physically see that I'm bigger and stronger than most things. And yes, there's going to be things that might be shorter and bigger or stronger than me. But for me, I know that at the end of the day, I still have an obligation to not try to take over something that I'm bigger than. That is a rule that I don't think most people understand. When you know that you're bigger than something physically, it's not about trying to dominate. It's really about just understanding that I can take control if I want to in a different way. And for me to understand that, and for other people to understand that, it's something that tells you what you're functionally here for. I'm a protector. And so because I'm a protector, instantly my feminine energy initiates and says, well, if you're a protector, baby, well then everything you do is through nurturing, because my soul energy and love thrives on love and nurturing. And so because I know this, I love to see other species and other beings in my life and my loves and my partners and my friends and my families and my pets. I love to know when they can come to me and lay on my chest. I love to know when they can come to me and tell me their truths, knowing they won't get any judgment. I love knowing that I'm a part of something bigger than myself that is meant to be a vessel to protecting not just my ego, but the protection of this nurturing, beautiful, ever-giving flow of life that Mother Gaia, the universe, everything, spirit gives back to us. and provides to us through our piece of the puzzle to nature, which is the biological female, who then births our species into this existence. But we, the masculine and the physical and the biological cisgender, we plant this seed of, I picked this plot for you to grow in because I trust this land. I trust this place. I trust this environment because I know that I did the work to get here to make sure you're safe. This is what we're supposed to do for our inner child for our entire lives. Once we pass the threshold of what our parents taught us, we take over our inner child and we tell them, you do what you need to do to create, but here's how I do to make sure that you're always feeling safe. Here's what I do to always make sure that you know you're loved and listened to, because I'm not holding you back from the things that make you feel passionate or feel connected to what makes you feel alive. This is the most pertinent part of being a human being. We have to understand that stepping into your masculine is stepping into action energy. Action energy is the very first thing. Remember, in the womb, it is all feminine energy. Once you crack that precipice of going out of the cervix into this world from the mother into the world, you breathe air, that action of splitting two realms from a conscious moment of just conception into a physical moment of reality, that's a masculine energy. And that is a moment that we all breathe life into this earth, and we have to take recognition and ownership of our own responsibilities to the things that we take charge of. Even in the moment of being the cisgender biological female, you are still in your masculine energy when you know how to hold the boundaries of your own self-respect, hold the boundaries of what you want your family to be, hold the boundaries of what you know that you can do for yourself respectively when you feel down and out or you don't know, and you know how to ask for help. Masculine energy, vice versa, same thing, nothing changes. It's knowing how to ask for help and step into your full authentic self, knowing that you understand you are purely here as a vessel to serve to another piece of the puzzle for spirit and universe to work through. I love knowing that I have a family unit to build. I love knowing that I am part of something larger than myself, and I love knowing that I can keep giving back this lesson and this understanding of what it is to be a conceptual being who is literally here as a vessel to just be, to just experience, to just breathe, to just live. There's nothing more than we have to do to say, here's what I want to happen. And then through that knowing and that wanting to happen is the consistency and the work. Everything that comes to you, it can seem like it's overnight, but if you're putting in the work energetically, emotionally, physically, everything, it's going to come to life. And that's the most important thing you have to remember. Anything that comes from this mind is only part of something that's a byproduct of what we emotionally know is coming from the heart. And the heart remembers who it is already. We just have to trust what it's telling us. So when you trust that intuition, that gut feeling, and that knowing, and you make a movement and an action towards it, and you start making physical movement to create this reality, this is your masculine and feminine energies co-creating. And anytime that you listen to your masculine, you're honoring your feminine, and when you listen to your feminine, you're honoring your masculine, because they have to exist together to create. There is nothing that we eat on this earth that did not come from a seed that had to start in this masculine energy. It was a hard seed in a shell planted into an earth that is ready to receive, and then takes in the time and the nutrients in the water and all the elements that make us beat. Remember, water, air, fire, earth, all these things is a part of making the human being, and everything else that walks around as a sitting being. We're one collective consciousness. Step into your role, walk into your elderhood, know exactly who you are, but the most important part of starting everything is honoring your masculine. Plant your seed and know exactly where you're planting yourself, so that when you begin to grow, you know how to root and have foundation, and you know how to be exactly who you're meant to be. All right, guys, as always, I love you. Thank you for checking me out. Check me out on all social media platforms, as well as epicenter.org, and now